everybody, I'm Latrina Patrick. Welcome to day 29 of our 90-day grant writing tutorial. I cannot believe we're kicking off month 2 of this whole process, so it's really excited that we've come this far. We've covered quite a bit. This week, I'm going to talk to you about the process of hiring a grant writer. Up until this point, we've been talking about very specific things about writing a grant proposal, but now I want you to take a look at hiring a grant writer. When most nonprofits start out, they don't have a lot of money, a lot of resources, so you may very well have one person doing pretty much everything. But there comes a point when you need to go to the next level. And one of the things that will help you go to the next level is having someone on staff or on a project by project basis that can help you get to the next level. And so what I want to talk to you today about is asking yourself several questions to determine whether or not you're ready to hire a grant writer. As a matter of fact, this week I'm focusing totally and completely on hiring a grant writer, what that entails, how much you pay them, questions to ask them when you're hiring them. This is going to be a really great week, so I encourage you to stay tuned and really take notes because you're going to learn quite a bit of useful information. So let's start out today with the questions you need to ask yourself before you decide whether or not you want to hire a grant writer. Question number 1, are we looking for someone full-time, one-time freelancer, or a long-term contractor? This is really a key question. So you may be looking for someone that can have a full-time position that comes in and this is all they do. They're dedicated to doing this one job for your organization. Do you need someone to come in that maybe you can't afford to pay benefits, but we can use someone as a long-term contractor where they are an independent contractor and you can arrange your schedule a lot differently where they may not necessarily come in every day, but work off-site or just make it work for the both of you. Or is it someone that you're just going to use on a per project basis? So you may not be ready to go full-time, but you are ready to bring somebody in that can help you per project to write a grant. So that's the first question you need to ask yourself. The second question is, do we know which funders are good prospects for our proposal, or do we need help in determining where the proposal should be sent? Now, this is another question because are you someone that already has a good feel about who funds the types of programs that you have, or do you need help in someone connecting you to those funders or those donors who fund what it is that you do? So that is a key question you need to ask yourself. Do you need that resource to come in and help you find the right funder? The third question is, do we have detailed understanding of the projects we'd like to fund? Or do we need help in developing not just the proposal, but the project themselves? That's a key question because with grant writing or finding someone to write a grant for you, sometimes, if you already have a program that's pretty good, pretty well established, you've been doing for a while, you got the gist of what's going on, then you may just have someone come in that can just write grants around that project. But if you're new, you have an idea of the direction that you want to go, but you don't really have a full-fledged program yet, then you may need someone to come in who can actually develop the program for you, write the grant around that program once it's developed. And I've served in those types of capacities in my days as a grant writer because I enjoy creating and developing programs. So sometimes you may need someone to come in and basically take you from point A to point B so that you can get ready to apply for a grant. So that's a question you need to ask yourself. Number 4, does a grant writer need a specific technical knowledge to write our proposal? I spoke to you last week about how I always write around specific projects. I have an area of expertise that I focus on. But I don't get into technical grants or research grants because I don't feel comfortable with that. You need a special knowledge and skill set to write those grants successfully. So when you're considering whether or not you need to hire a grant writer or not, you need to look at whether or not this person needs to come in with some technical knowledge. So for example, if you have it's one thing to write for an after-school program or a teen pregnancy prevention program, but if you are at a university level and say you are writing a grant to have a new chemistry lab, then that's going to be written a lot differently. So you need to ask yourself, does this person we're hiring need to have the special technical knowledge to write for us? So that's a key question. Number 5. Do we have staff who can manage the grant writer's work, or must he or she be able to hit the ground running, put together a plan of action, and carry out and or manage the process? So do you currently have a staff person who can manage the grant writing process? Because once you start getting grants in, it really is something to manage. You will need someone who can administer the grant, someone who can keep you on track, make sure you're meeting your deliverables, make sure you're hitting your milestones and your timelines are being met. It's a very important process. So the key question is, do you already have somebody on staff who can do that? Or do you need to bring in a person who can actually do all of these things so that when you get your money, that you don't put yourself at risk for losing it? Number 6 is, do we have staff who can manage the technical aspects of the grant preparation? So that kind of goes in hand with what I was just talking about. You need to evaluate your internal staff to see if you have someone that's going to be able to help manage the process, not just meeting the deliverables, but all the other technical stuff that goes along with it as well. And then the 7th question is, how much money do we have to pay a grant writer? At the end of the day, it's really going to boil down to your budget and whether or not you can afford to bring this person on. And depending on your budget, that will help you decide whether or not you need to just invest in bringing someone on per project until you get more money in-house and then you're able to hire someone. Or if you have enough to bring in someone full-time to pay them benefits, or you have someone that's coming in as an independent contractor where you're paying them and it's a long-term relationship. So these are some key questions that you need to ask yourself before you decide whether or not you're ready to hire a grant writer. So I hope you found this information helpful. If you have any questions about anything that I've covered, please make sure you leave those questions here on my YouTube channel so that I can answer those questions for you. Also, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. That way you will get immediate notification whenever I upload a new video. And also, I hope that you'll share the link with any of your friends or family if you feel like the information I'm sharing has been useful to you. Also, I send out weekly email updates to let you know what's coming up every week in my tutorials. I send those out every Monday, and in order for you to receive those email updates, I need you to go over to my website, www.greatervisionconsulting.com, and make sure you sign up to subscribe to my emails, and you will get an email from me every week. While you're on my website, make sure you check out my experience, my services that I offer, and just let me know if there's anything that I can do to help you in your organization. I'd love to work with you. I hope that you found this information helpful. I look forward to coming back tomorrow and sharing another great tutorial with you. Until then, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.